Bing bong.
That too. No.
We got bing and we got bong.
And good morning.
Hello. Why did mine like go dark all of a sudden? Okay, let's look. Make sure that's
It's
great.
the Dark Man. No.
Woohoo!
Good morning. It's the breakfast show. It's the breakfast show. It's the breakfast show.
She's making me play all the instruments.
Yep. KT Turnstile did that. And remember that song, Wild Cherry Buck or something like that? I don't remember that. Woohoo! Woohoo! That song. She's like playing the guitar, doing the harmonica, doing a drum, got cymbals going, and she's just like ding 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 boom boom boom. Yeah. Woohoo! The whole time. Yeah, you are. Do I have eyebrows on? Yeah, I do have eyebrows on. I'm like, I can't see my ding dang eyebrows. I needed to make them bigger.
The world needs to be grounded, don't they?
Yes, and what tone is that? What note?
That's the base chakra.
The base chakra, so it's the
C.
C. Okay. Divide 28.
Divide 28.
Yeah, everybody really, I mean, yeah, it is a good time to be grounded. Not the kind like when you were a teenager. That kind of sucks, grounded. But that grounded of, you know, kind of feeling I feel the earth move under my feet. Something along that lines. Being grounded, I think, is really important.
That is. Makes life a lot easier to deal with.
You know what? One of my favorite great ways of grounding? A black tourmaline
And a selenite.
and a white selenite stick. In fact, have conversation with our
right
followers. I'll
She'll
be right back.
She's all excited. She's going to go get a black tourmaline and a white selenite. I'm not making fun of you.
Yes, you are.
She says I'm making fun of her. I'm not making fun of her. She's going to go get it so that she can learn and understand what these are.
She was making fun of me.
Was
I know
not.
it. Okay. Because this is like, you know, most of the time our show is like totally off the hip.
Oh yeah.
We like 2 minutes before we'll head like, what do you want to talk about? And you know, I was like, no politics. And you know, I'm the one that loves politics.
She's the one that goes. She's always the one that turns to politics.
Yeah, but no, I'm trying to minimize that. But I do. There is somebody that I thought that was interesting. All right, so a white selenite stick.
I love that stick.
White
too.
selenite
It's a nice
stick.
hearty one.
And then this is my black tourmaline. I used to use little pieces. And then I learned that there's so much shish in the world that the bigger the piece, the more it
better.
clears. So
I love it.
when I'm overwhelmed with the world outside or even the world inside, it doesn't make a difference. If I'm overwhelmed, I grab onto my white selenite stick and I grab onto my black tourmaline and I just kind of sit there, palms up, and look around the room. And then I kind of go off into my little la-la land and I get my meditation going.
It's a good way to get a meditation
And,
going. Yeah.
but I laugh because it's like, it's just a ding-dang rock.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what most people would say. It's a ding-dang rock. And I'm like, it's a living energy, damn it. It lives.
God created everything energetically before He created it physically.
Exactly.
And so, if that's the case, then everything that is naturally created by God has energy.
And it will, of course.
So,
Has life force. And so I was like, whether it's a tactile thing where it's symbolic of the healing or symbolic of the grounding or whatever, it allows your vibration to change. And then you're like, oh yeah, what was I mad about?
yeah, and if
Well,
it's,
okay,
and, I mean,
overwhelmed.
even if it's a sensory thing, just to redirect your attention to a different place, and
Exactly.
you know, it's okay.
Isn't that kind of like I got a headache, so let me kick you in the knee?
Yeah.
Then you'll worry about your knee pain and your headache will
Go
go away.
away.
Yeah.
My mother used to do that kind of thing to us all the time.
Yeah.
I have a headache. Well, come here, let me kick you. And then you won't have a headache anymore.
I know. My mom used to do that stuff too. And what the heck was that all about?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I might have done that to my kids. I don't know. I don't remember. My daughter once told me, you ate a lot of macaroni and cheese. And I'm like, no, I did not. You made a lot of macaroni and cheese.
I think I have told my kid, I mean, just half joking, Mom, I have a headache. Well, do you want me to break your legs so the head doesn't hurt anymore, or what? You know?
I might have said something, do you want me to cry for you? You know, oh my God.
Or I've done the whole, you know what this is?
The world's smallest violin.
Play the world's saddest
song for you. Yeah, my daughter's having surgery this morning, so I'm like,
wow.
That's probably not the thing I want to say. Oh, hey. It's you know what? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's it's Scam Likely.
Oh,
It's a Scam Likely. He keeps calling me on all these different numbers. I was tweeted that up on Twitter. I have a stalker. His name, and I go his name, and then I wrote in parentheses because it sounds like a dude name. End of parentheses, or you know what I'm talking about? Bunny ear, not bunny ear. Parentheses. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, Scam Likely. He calls me from like 20 different numbers. I keep blocking him and he keeps calling me back, you know. And I'm over here and I had a couple of people, they were like, Maris, my God.
Well, you know.
And I go, well, at least I'm not talking about the politics of the election.
Right.
And I've actually kind of like, and I'm not saying I like disengaged, because I still am I'm just quietly watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything to say really either way. Well, I do, but I'm just choosing not to engage into that vibration.
That's kind of where I've been too. I'm just not going to engage.
I am going to make one little comment. Oh, look, I just like all our watchers like got off. They go, oh, damn it, they're going to talk about politics.
Really? Did you leave because of that? No.
Seriously? No, the only thing is, you know, I find it really weird after being tormented for 4 years that now everybody wants to call for, what is that, unity and peace. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been every bad thing in the world to you for who knows how long. Oh, that it is. Oh, does that imagine? Oops. Okay. I kept feeling something over here.
I had something sticking me too just a minute ago.
And I'm like, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? It ends up being, yeah. That's what I get for playing in my herb garden this morning. Yeah. Ooh. But I thought that was interesting. You were talking about, and I've never heard of this guy, but I guess he's one of our senators here, or state senator Yen.
I don't think he's actually a current senator, but maybe he is.
Oh, okay. Well, he's somebody.
Oh, sure, he's somebody. He was pretty talked about not too long ago. Well, it's been a couple of years ago. It's been a few years ago
Because
now.
I don't remember him.
5 years ago or so. That he was like huge into, he's anti-natural health.
Oh, he's anti-natural. Okay.
He's a doctor.
And his
He's a
name is
physician.
Yen.
And his name is Yen.
And he's
And
anti-natural health.
Republican. He's anti-Second Amendment.
Oh, Rhino. That is like, he's not Republican.
So, and he's running for governor. Guys,
Oh my
let's not do
God.
that. Kevin,
Don't let that shush happen.
Right.
Kevin, listen to me.
Listen to your mother.
You got a headache, Kevin? Let me kick him in. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyway, we just can't let that happen because that's taking away our rights and our freedom to choose what we feel is best. So he's also, I mean, when I say he's anti-natural health, he's anti-midwifery, he's anti-home birth, he's anti-everything, he's anti-anything natural.
Well, that's because they can't inject your kids with a bunch of, I bet you he's paid off by Big Pharma.
And he's also...
and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
He's also very pro-mandatory vaccine. So...
Oh, hell no.
So anyway, and I don't know a whole lot about him. That's all I know about him. So I'm not, we're not going to get here and debate on it or anything. I'm just saying that
Clearing my energy.
I just don't think he's a good fit for Oklahoma. So
No, I don't
he needs
think,
to go
yeah.
to some other state and
Yeah, let's see. Hello, Melody. Good morning. I mean, that is really scary because it's kind of like we've been fighting. When you really think about it, for the last 40 years-ish, really, like when they had this, all of a sudden it was this trend of going to allopathic or doctor medicine, like MD, DO medicine, MD. And it was like you wanted to go to the DO because the DO was like the MD, but he was also a hippie natural health. So it'd be like, oh yeah, cool. Well, now I think they're going under all of the same guidelines, and the only thing difference in the DO and the MD is where they go to school.
Yeah.
Because DOs are writing prescriptions and doing pharmacologicals, and I don't think that they're they are of that same mind frame that they were 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed out about that.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed out about somebody wanting to come in and say, okay, natural health is a big no-no. No midwifery, because if it's going to be no midwifery, then it's going to be no naturopaths. And then...
Well, and I think the bill that Yen was trying to pass about 6 years ago, something like that. It might have been longer than that now. Now that I'm thinking of my time frames. But it was basically, it was targeted towards midwives, but the small print had naturopaths and other natural health practitioners in there. So, when you hear about stuff, make sure that you're looking those bills up and reading them, because so many times there's hidden agendas down in the small print, or and farther down into it.
People don't realize that. They don't really think about it, though. It's just kind of like a news story. We'll read the headline, and we think we know everything that's underneath that headline.
Right.
And it might be at the very end. I don't remember if you remember ever doing this in school. You get this exercise and it's a paper, and at the very top it states, please read this entire paper
psychology class in high school
before completing it or something.
Make sure you read to the bottom of the page before you answer the questions.
Yeah. And so how often did people blow off the headline and then start answering questions, and then they'll get at the very end and it'll say, do not make any marks on this paper and do not answer the questions, and you're like, damn. I guess I didn't pay attention. No, you did not pay attention. That was me, because several times I'd get all, giddy and, woo, I'm doing a little, I love these things,
Because the questions were usually simple, silly,
Or, sometimes it might be something thought provocative, and you're like, whoa, let me think about that. And then you fill it out, and then you're like, dang. At the very end. Yeah. Now they know my innermost secrets.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that.
Yeah. So I heard this a few times.
Oh yeah, and I was always the one that started filling it out. It's okay. Even as an intuitive, you'd think I'd know better.
Well,
or after the third time doing it.
No. Let's just say that we're the go-getters in life.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, the go-getters. It's like I'm already halfway down the road by the time you've shot the little starting fire or whatever it's called.
That's right. I'm on a mission.
I'm on a mission, and my mission is to. Detoxing is really important to do this time of year. We had 2 weeks, 2 weeks of stress.
With everybody's electricity being out and the ice storm and all that business.
And all that business and all that craziness. So come get a detox. Shelly's doing detoxes too.
Yeah.
So you can give us a text, and we can, if we're not available, then we got Shelly.
We got Shelly. Brent can still do them on the weekends or in the evenings. And
Very cool.
We've got options for timing, and so yeah, definitely text us and we'll get you hooked up with somebody to take care of a foot detox.
Oh yeah, definitely. But this week I have a tapping class on Thursday night. It is not too late to enroll. You can go on my event page for Oklahoma Healing Connection, and it'll list how to register or enroll for that class. You have to register, you have to enroll. You can't just walk in, as I want to make sure that I've got the appropriate books for everybody, booklets for everybody on that. And so that's the tapping class. And then on Sunday, I have CPR for the soul. I think everybody needs to learn how to do Reiki. The first degree is for giving self Reiki, or maybe like your one of your kiddos, or maybe your spouse isn't feeling good and you can share a little Reiki with them. It's not for the professional practitioner. I had somebody that came in, and they came in for a session with me, and I guess they had studied with somebody else, and that Reiki master told them that they can practice professionally at the first degree. No, you cannot.
You have to be at least second degree.
You have to be second degree. First
Second
degree
degree.
does not have the attunements necessary in order to do or healing on a professional level or on a grand scale level. So first degree practitioners, no, you cannot professionally advertise and practice Reiki. You're welcome to give it away all you want, but you cannot hang your shingle up and state that you are practicing, that you're offering Reiki healing for cash or for money. It is, yeah, you have to be second degree to be on that professional level of that. So I just wanted to stop, kind of clarify on that. But we have the first degree CPR for the soul class on Sunday. I believe it is at 12. So if you would like to attend that class, either check out the event page or give me a text.
There you go.
And no, it is not online. That class is not online. I've had quite a few people reach out to me, because it'll be like different classes that I'm doing. It's like the ear candling class. Are you going to do that online? No. That is a hands-on class.
Definitely hands-on,
you need
yeah.
your hands on another person, and I need to be there watching and helping you and guiding you on learning how to ear candle. And the same thing with the ionic foot detox. Now, our continuing education classes can be online. Usually, unless it is a high demonstrative or where you're having to do a lot of stuff, and either you got to have somebody else's feet or whatever there, and with the camera right on it,
Right,
Yeah.
Right. So reflexology classes are not online.
No, I mean, it's
Those-
like you could
those are
probably do
hands-on.
the history part.
Yeah, we
Or
could
the
probably do an
lecture.
overview or an introductory part online, but the rest is all very hands-on.
The lecture part could probably be online. When you think about it, I could lecture a lot of stuff online. But when it's a demonstrative, or where you're showing somebody that you have the ability to do something, you want to be in
Right.
person.
Right. You want to be able to show it, touch it, feel it, see it, experience it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
And it's funny, I have and I don't know if I take his classes because I think he's cute. But he teaches like all these different like master levels of Reiki, like Lemurian Reiki. I still have he's just so cute. He's got a real sexy voice too. So I mean,
He
that's just,
probably knows that's why he teaches the classes, because
I know.
he's like, I can make money on my looks.
I know, dang. And then he's got an Egyptian Reiki,
I
and
think I've seen that one on Udemy.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the Egyptian.
he's like
Reiki.
some eye candy.
Really?
Yeah, he is eye candy, and his voice is like real silky smooth. Like he's real. I like him.
This is when you're like, shut up, honey, I'm listening.
Nikolai and I are together now. Bring it. No, I don't. I don't like doing classes in front of my husband.
Yeah.
I don't like doing, it was like last night I noticed we were both on YouTube, but we were looking at different stuff. Oh my God, I got to tell you what I found on YouTube.
Okay.
But we're both looking at different stuff, and I'm like over here like scrolling around, and, and then he's listening to some war stories or whatever, and I'm like, so I'm like very grateful that we have 2 different devices so I don't have to listen to war stories. He had a thing about World War II and Adolf Hitler
Oh wow.
for like 2 years. So it was like every night I went to bed with Adolf. And then it flipped and he got into gangsters and the mafia or the mob. And so Whitey Bulger and I have been intimate. And John Gotti and all of his crew, and so I'm just like sitting back like. But it's called Great Depression Cooking. And she is a YouTuber, and she's actually passed away. But she was making videos, cooking videos up until she was 96 years old.
Oh, wow.
Her name was Clara, Clara. It's called Great Depression Cooking. So yesterday, I learned how to make a poor man's feast with fried potatoes and hot dogs. I learned how to make Italian ice.
Interesting.
Pizza. It was Italian ice, pizza. The poor man's feast. Oh, fried fish. And I've never even heard of smelt. S-M-E-L-T. Have you ever heard of that kind of... Yeah, she made fried smelt, and they looked like French fries when they were done. It was interesting.
Interesting.
It was interesting. And then she tells all these little tidbits. Couscous. She made couscous, too. But she tells all these little interesting stories about growing up in the Depression.
Mm-hmm.
As she's teaching you how to cook really pretty simplistic food. But she would go, it's healthy, it's nutritious, and it's cheap. I'm like, I love her. Grandma Clara. So yeah, I was watching Grandma Clara. I was watching Clara. So one of my dogs kept popping up in my lap, and he'd be doing this
Do
thing.
you like your screen? I'm hungry.
No, he didn't like the screen, but he was doing this, listening to Grandma Clara. And I was, that's your grandma. And I was like, she's everybody's grandma.
Uh-huh.
I was like, definitely, she's everybody's grandma.
I love
You
that.
know, she's just a real sweet lady, really kind, and I just enjoyed it's kind of like, what do you need to do to ground? You know, it was like Monday, I got up, had my makeup on, my clothes on, go to the front door, and it was like, no, I need to go into the studio and do some things today. I got to do my weekly forecast. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, you need to ground. And I'm like, what? You need to ground. 30 plants later or something like that, but I grounded. And it was just like a wonderful way to start my week.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's even though I look at something and I'm like, numbers are down, or this is not right, or whatever, I'm still like, oh, wow, cool. What a great opportunity. Cool. So it was like, Losi counted it. I didn't. Losi counted slag glass pieces for us yesterday. Yes. I was like, yeah. So we'll have a couple of things coming up on the auction, and slag glass will be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really kind of funny as I've been to a couple of people's houses during COVID, and for people to really know me, I don't like to go anywhere. I mean, I do. I mean, like to go places. I don't like to go to people's houses. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I really don't. If you know why I don't, will you please give me some insight? But I don't like to go to people's houses. So, but during COVID, I went to a couple people's houses. Is that not weird? The time we're not supposed to go.
You're going. Yeah.
And what did I notice? Everybody had slag glass. I was like, really? I felt like I was the only person in the world that had, slag glass. I was over, she's like an extended, or she's a family member. And I'm over there and I'm like washing my hands or doing something at the kitchen sink, and I look up and she's got like a thing of slag glass all the way across.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I like her pieces. So I was like, hey, people do collect that other than me.
Yeah. I have some big pieces in my garden.
See, I think it's cool. My neighbor next door does too.
Well, they're unique. Nobody's going to have one like what you have.
No.
It's, they're unique.
And it's actually, how is it created? It's like when they clean, like when they're blowing glass or making glass, and then they release all of the remnant stuff up out of the pipes, and it hits the water and it makes various shapes or whatever, so the glass, once it hits the water, cools, and it creates a one. You're right, it's a one of a kind piece. You'll never get
another piece.
Another piece. I have over in the other building. I have this one piece that's got half a fish in it.
Oh, cool.
It's so cool.
That's cool.
It is. It's amazing. I'm like, isn't that cool?
What movie was it? What movie was that? Sweet Home Alabama? Maybe? Where the guy makes glass sculptures, but he would put a rod in the sand on the beach, and the lightning would strike the rod, and it melted the sand, which turned it into glass.
No
That
way.
was really cool. I think it was Sweet Home Alabama.
Now you know what I want to do. I just like want to go and start. I need a whole bunch. Can you make them look alike?
So he would, and he had like a whole gallery of these art pieces that he created. He didn't create them. I mean, the lightning and the sand created them.
It
He
was
just-
his idea. And Mother
So
Nature
he's
just worked with him.
That's right. Helped him out.
I love
So that was
that.
kind of cool. But yeah.
Yeah, Gabby went to the movies.
Really?
Yeah, she said the movie theaters are opening up. I can't remember the name of the movie, but she said it was definitely like a teenage guyish kind of horror. I don't know, maybe it was a horror movie or something. She said, so everybody walks in and they all have their mask on, and they've got their pot, and they're selling popcorn and pop and all of that stuff. And they go in and they sit down. Everybody takes off their mask. Nobody wears a mask the entire time.
Wow.
Well, because you're eating and drinking.
Right.
Wink, wink, wink.
So make sure you buy popcorn.
And soda.
There you go.
And then the movie's over, and the lights come on and whatever, and everybody gets up and they're all putting their masks back on and they walk out the building. And I'm like, why are we wearing a mask?
Yeah. If you're not going to keep it on anyway.
It's almost coming to the point that it feels like a fetish.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys like, a fetish? And I was like, go back, go on your Google search or your DuckDuckGo or whatever you Bing or whatever you're searching on, and look up slave masks. The history of slave masks. It's really interesting. And y'all are like, oh, Mara, she said you wouldn't do any politics today. And I'm like, it's not politics, it's about our health, body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
I am an advocate for health. Do not mistake what I'm going to say. I'm an advocate for health. But chronic mask wearing causes more health problems than it does prevention. And I'm going to say and here's my soapbox on it. I'm cool running into Walmart wearing the mask and running out of Walmart. But when you or people or society or the state of Oklahoma tells me that I need to wear it 8 hours a day in my workplace, or 10 hours a day in my workplace, or when I'm behind the wheel or whatever, who's going to pay my bills when I have to go to the doctor for my bacterial pneumonia?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to pay for the thrush
Mm-hmm.
in my mouth? Because that's what I experience. My oxygenation goes to shish. My pH becomes very acidic. And with a couple of hours, I have burns and sores in my mouth. I love to gamble. I love to gamble.
Yes,
I
she
love
does.
casinos.
Yes, she does.
That's where I go. I don't go to your house. I go to the casino. So if you want to see me at the casino, right? I won't even go to the casino very often anymore because of the mask. Or I go in and I play for an hour and I'm done.
Right.
Because anything longer than that, my mouth is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then my stomach is on fire. And then I'm in the middle of a Hess. My pH goes up, my carbon dioxide goes up, and my oxygenation level goes down, and I'm a mean, cranky person. But, okay, with a 99.6 survival rate, they want you to wear a mask. Give me the actual data. The actual data that establishes that masks work in this pandemic. That I don't even think it's really a pandemic.
Even the box when you buy a box of masks, it even says that it's not effective on the box, from what I understand. I haven't read it.
They changed the verbiage on
they?
that. Yes, they did. They changed that because people, oh, shush. It was on Twitter day in, day out. People posting pictures of their boxes, back in March, April, and May, and how it said that. And so now, when you look at the boxes that are freshly manufactured and you look at the bottom, it'll say this is an appropriate device to use for COVID-19 prevention or whatever their fancy verbiage is. So I'm like, really? So, I mean, and I look at that and I'm kind of like, is that kind of like, all right, you say something enough times, it becomes a truth. So if I tell you enough times that it's a truth, then it becomes a truth. Or at least a truth in our sense of reality.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I look at that. But, a couple of things I've noticed that a lot of the major networks after the election have taken off the COVID ticker. How many people have contracted it, how many people have died.
Right.
I don't hear that. I don't see that as much. But of course, I dumped Fox Network and I broke up. So Fox News and I broke up.
I think if you want to go back to let's just go back to talking about our energy and what we project and what we bring to us. I found a movie on Amazon. You need to go watch this movie. It's called Dare to Dream, and it's done by The Secret.
Okay, cool.
So it's done by the organization, but it's an actual movie. And they did a fantastic job. I've watched, and I don't watch movies more than once. It's like, I've seen it, I'm done, move on, something new, right? I've watched this movie 3 times now.
Oh, how cool.
Because it's that good. And it's a family movie. I'm telling you that if you want your children to develop a sense of positive thinking and attracting positive things into their life, it even addresses children.
See, I think that's important.
So, basically, a single mom with 3 kids, and a man comes into her life that she's never met, but her late husband knew him and worked with him. And I just gave away part of the movie, but it's okay.
She said single mom.
Okay, so
it's either she was single or she was widowed or divorced.
Right. And so he comes in and he's the one that's teaching the children, because they're in a situation where they're just down on their luck. Everything that's bad that could happen happens. A hurricane comes in and a tree falls through the roof of their house. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
It's called Dare to Dream.
Dare to Dream. But he talks to the kids, he talks to the mom, he's, helps them have a more positive outlook on their life. It's a very fascinating movie.
Okay, cool. No, I think that is important too. I like the movie The Secret.
Yeah.
That documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, that really, the guy who was the entrepreneur that was an airplane pilot, and his plane crashed and he was quadriplegic, and they told him, you'll never come off that vent. You'll never walk again. You'll never do these things. And he was like, I'm walking out of here by Christmas.
And he did.
And he did. And it was, and I sit there and I'm like, that was amazing, because as an old ICU nurse, I know where he was in that. And he was talking about how he would lay there in bed and he would imagine his lungs going in and out on their own, which at that point his lungs weren't doing that.
Right.
It was a machine doing that for him. And so then it was like one day he kept setting off the alarms on the ventilator, and they were like, dude's breathing over the vent. And I'm like, miracles do happen. For people that don't believe in miracles do happen.
Every day.
Every day. I was like, medical miracles happen. Dare to dream, dare to push that limit, push it, because you can make things happen in your life.
Yeah.
You can make good things happen. You can also make bad things happen.
This is true. And I think sometimes, we're all guilty. We have that whole, sometimes it's like, well, this just happened, this is horrible, and then it just compounds, you start just losing vision and losing, it's a little bit of time. You don't even realize it's happening. It's like, somebody sitting here going constantly, you know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, we all get into those downward spirals and those shifts that, and then we have to work our way back out of them, so.
And I was like, and it's all, I'm going to say for me, a lot of it has to do with how I choose to respond to it or connect or engage with that. Because I'm going to say, back in my pagan days, and, back when I practiced paganism, I'll just go there, paganism, I did not do very well with strife. I had a lot of issues with strife. When bad things happened, I experienced it on a negative aspect.
Right.
And then as my spirituality, my own personal spirituality changed, and I went back home. I mean, I was like a prodigal daughter. It was like I experienced all sorts of nonsense on the outside world, and then I was like, the hell with this. God's so much easier. He's easier to take care of.
Well, that's true.
That I learned that is like, as my spirit, my connection with the essence of God I'm closer to that. I don't respond to strife in the same way.
Yeah.
I have my little, I get annoyed. I'm not going to lie. I'll go, oh, fudge. God blessed, whatever. And then within a couple of hours, I've already got plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, all the way to Z. So that if all of these things don't pan out, hopefully Z will pan out. I'm like, please.
I have a quote hanging on my bedroom window that says, don't worry if, what is it? Don't worry if your plan A didn't work. There's 26 more letters in the alphabet.
25.
25. Yeah, 25 more letters in the alphabet.
Heck yeah.
I was like, yeah. So that's where you got to go with it, And who is it? So I actually, my screensaver on my computer, and it has been for about 3 or 4 years now, is life is an adventure. What is life? It's a Helen Keller quote that's, if life is nothing if it's not an adventure or something
That's
to that
true,
effect,
though.
I mean, it's like, so there's always something that's going on, that you just have to kind of step back and say, hey, this is...
Well, I'm like, there's always something to learn.
Yep.
There's always something to do. There's always something to achieve. There's always something to dream about. You don't have to stay in that one place. And I think a lot of people are like we were talking, was it yesterday? We were talking about fear.
Yeah.
I was like, fear really holds us or imprisons us.
Yeah.
And into this, into a corner in a cage, a metaphorically or metaphysical cage, and that it doesn't allow us to step outside of our box or and when I say push boundaries, it's not like a negative, like overstepping your boundaries, but expanding them as you grow in character and quality of how you embrace life. And that's awful scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be.
And it's like
really
fear can hold us back and put us into a place that we just can never see beyond, our hand in front of our face.
Yeah, it's true. Very, very true.
And so,
in childbirth, that if a mom is fearful of giving birth, if she's afraid of the pain that's going to happen at the end of birth, she can be in labor for hours and hours and hours and never give birth.
Really? I must not have been afraid.
Childbirth is very emotionally connected. It's extremely emotionally connected.
I'm telling you what, I shelled them like peas.
Did you really?
I sure did.
You just spit them out. I didn't have any problems with any of mine. I had long labors, but they weren't difficult. They were just long.
My longest was 5 hours.
Oh, you stink.
My longest was 5 hours, and they were like, "You're not in labor," and I'm like, "Yes, oh yes, I am." You're not in labor, and I'm like, "Oh yes, I am." And then I'm like, I feel like I need to have a BM. And they're like, "You're not in labor. Let's get up and go to the bathroom. You better check me first." and they would lift up and they'd go, "Oh God, she's crowning." And I'm like, y'all thought I wasn't in labor. Listen to mommy. You know, it's like, we know our body.
That's right.
But
That's
I'm going to, I refused to listen to people's stories about delivery.
Amen. If you're pregnant, don't listen to other people's delivery stories.
I'm like, I refuse. My mom told me, don't listen to it. Shh, don't read that book.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, she doesn't want me to know. Honey, it hurts, but you won't remember it afterwards. And it was funny because, yes, it hurt. I could tell you it hurt because I said it 100 times, this hurts. But to reproduce that hurt afterwards, I couldn't really tell you. I'm like, yeah, it hurt. But, like, after it happened, it was like, hey, can we go walking? And everybody else is like, oh my God.
So is that a baby?
And I'm like, 45 minutes after each one of my kids, after delivering the placenta, I was up walking up and down the halls.
With my fifth, well, of course I had him at home. He was almost 10 pounds. He was actually my easiest, but yet my hardest birth. I don't know if that makes sense, but I actually had to push with him. I mean, like I had to work to get him out, where the other ones were just like, and he was broad-shouldered, just, big old boy. And he was born about 7 o'clock at night, which, if I could choose the time of day to have a baby, that's the perfect time to have a baby.
Why?
Because you get all cleaned up, you're exhausted, you get cleaned up, and you go to bed. Baby sleeps right after they're born anyway, usually. And so you just get all cleaned up and everything's taken care of, and within a couple of hours you're tucked in bed for the night. You get a good night's rest your very first night, and you get up refreshed the next morning, and baby's already on a schedule because they're kind of born. I mean, when they're born, that schedule just kind of happens. And so then they're like, I never had problems with his sleep, never. It was great. Much better than having a baby early in the morning. Much better. So the next morning, I get up, and I think Brent was out doing lawn work, and I just put the baby carrier on, strapped him on to me. I have a Maya wrap, a ring sling, and I just strapped him on. And I was in the kitchen making spaghetti. A lady came over with dinner, and she goes, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." She goes, "Is that spaghetti I smell?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm making a big pot of spaghetti sauce."
And they're like, yeah.
You're what?
You're supposed to be in bed for 40 days.
Right? No, but I did. I just jumped up and kept going. And all of my home births were that way. I just jumped up and kept going. Now, my hospital births were something else. I mean, my first one, they ended up doing an episiotomy and using the forceps and everything else. And I swelled up and I hurt for weeks.
It's a trauma.
Yeah.
It's a trauma. People will, and they're like, surgery isn't a trauma. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's a trauma. Surgery is a trauma.
So it just wasn't fun. But,
your body goes into shock.
Yeah. So I was up walking around with her, but then I swelled up so bad that I ended up having to do sitz baths and being put to bed and,
Oh, I like the sitz baths. Those were fun.
They were fun.
They felt good. I mean, and it was like...
It felt good. I'd never experienced one, though, and, they take me to this room in the hospital with this funky little tub that I had to squat in, and I was like, okay.
Well, and then my doctor, he was like, okay, honey, and his name was Dr. Woody, Woiwode. He was a really short, I think he was like Amish or Mennonite, kind of looked that way. I couldn't have been, I don't know. He said, honey, I want you to go and buy a box of Drift. And you're going to take a half a cup of Drift and you're going to put it in that bath water when you soak. The doctor told me this, not the nurse, the doctor. And I went home and that's what I did every day because Dr. Woody told me to do that.
Oh, wow.
And I did that. And my episiotomy healed up beautifully.
Interesting.
And I never had to have another episiotomy.
Wow. Interesting.
But, so it was like little things that you learn,
Yeah.
on that. And that's like a good thing that I remembered. Like I said,
Interesting.
I know it hurt. It wasn't like, oh, this feels so beautiful. I love having a contraction. No, contractions hurt.
No, they're not.
You know,
fun.
they're not fun. This is a massive muscle reaction. And God, it hurts, you know.
Well, and if
But
you,
the end result is beautiful.
what are the numbers on the pain thing? I can't remember what those were called, but they say that the pain in labor is far outweighs any pain that you can imagine.
Oh, it's like the zero. It's the happy faces to the sad face, or the 0 to
Yeah,
the
but
1
there's
to 10.
there's actually a measurement that they have, and I can't remember what it's called. It's an actual numeric measurement.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like right here, and I can't get it out.
Yep.
So, but we do an herbal sitz bath for all of our home birth clients. So after they have a baby, we fix up a bath for them.
Is it
with
like
herbs.
a bath tea where all the herbs are in a bag, or the herbs floating around?
So no, we have it. We usually put it in a knee-high stocking because it's big. By the time it's done, that thing is like this big around and this long, full of herbs. And then we put it in a pot of boiling water and let it boil and steep for quite a while. Usually all through the labor. I mean, it's like that for a while, and then we create the bath. What did you just do?
What did I just do?
Oh no! Oh no! We have technical difficulties. Go sideways, up and down. No, yeah, that way.
No. Okay, there we
Here
go.
we go. Okay, are we back?
Yes!
Yay!
Oh my God!
Maybe we
technical
never went
difficulties.
around. It went away. It
Ooh.
just changed.
Technical difficulties, but at least on my side, it was, like scam likely calling again. Telling you what, he needs to leave me the hell alone.
Right?
Oh,
But we
did
make
I
up
say
this herbal tea, and then we put it in their bath water and let them soak in it. Usually they can get another good herbal bath out of it later. I mean, because it's tons of herbs, so they can reuse it. But then I try to save a little bit of it off because we give them a peri bottle, and we put the herbs in the peri bottle. And
Or the tea water?
the
or
tea water.
Okay.
Yeah, the tea water in the peri bottle, and have them stick in the refrigerator so it's nice and cool. So then they can wash everything off.
Yeah, the
When
little
they get back
the
from-
peri bottle. Oh, yeah.
I love the peri bottles.
I know, I'm not complaining.
Not complaining. Of course, now the way I always use peri was told to use peri bottles. You just put just a little bit of iodine in it, and then fill it up the rest of the way with water, and squirt yourself off. But yeah, no, I love the peri bottles. I kept them around for a long time. I'd use them when I was on my period.
Unless you're allergic to iodine.
Then don't do that.
Let's clarify that.
Yeah, right. Don't do it.
I was like on that mucosal membrane that would just be on fire.
Yep.
We don't want to go down that road.
Nope. No. Not at all. So, anyway. What are you doing?
Making sure. I hope it's running.
Oh, is it not? It's not. 'Cause look.
Damn it! Damn it! I can't believe that we went off. Technical difficulties in the house again. But anyway, so she's talking about the peri bottle.
Yes, we love the peri bottle.
Actually, I was like, the peri bottle is a really good thing to have. And even if you have had any kind of feminine reproductive external surgery, that's a wonderful tool to use. So what are two of the herbs that are in your mixture?
Oh, Lordy, you would ask.
I know.
Comfrey's one of them. And then there is Epsom salt in it. And I know Comfrey's one, and you would have to ask. Why would you have to ask that?
Because that's just me to do that.
I think it's calendula is another one.
Calendula is used a lot in traditional or folkloric medicine.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was studying curandissimas, that we used calendula. Or, how did you pronounce it?
Calendula.
Calendula. Whatever.
Whatever it's called. Yeah. I'm looking up on my shelf going.
It's Marigold's cousin.
Calendula.
Yeah, it's Marigold's cousin. We make an oil with that, an infused oil that we use for the pelvic region, and we use it for body, mind, and spirit, and healing. So if
It's good for your skin.
it is really, really good for your
You
skin.
make a rinse with it for your hair. It's amazing, especially if you have blonde hair. It's really good for your hair.
Well, we take the oil, and we, like I said, like in a vibrational healing session, we would take that oil. Ooh, I'm off to the side. I don't like that. There we go. We would take that oil. We would take the calendula and we would diffuse it in an oil for X amount of time, and then take it and process. Where you take all the herb or the flower out of the
Strain
or
it.
they're strain it. That's the word. And we would take that oil, and so if you were working with somebody that had a trauma, an emotional trauma, maybe they were raped or they had been molested, which is to me the same thing, that we would teach them how to massage that into their pelvic region. And of course, we have a session where we're going to be, massaging it on your abdomen for you. But then we would teach them how to take that oil home and work with it at home, and it would help to heal the vibration of the trauma.
Interesting.
From that reproductive area.
It totally makes sense, because when you infuse an oil with calendula, that oil turns out a beautiful yellow. So you're not just using the herbal therapy, you're also using color therapy.
Definitely.
And using the vibration of the plant. So that just makes total sense.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it was probably one of my more favorite working with herbs at that because I think it was like this one summer we made several infusions, and so I mean we made like the calendula, we made a dandelion infusion that is really good over the solar plexus, and massaging that into like the liver, gallbladder area helps to kind of release a lot of anger. Placing it over the pancreas and working with the dandelion over the pancreas also helps us to change our perspective towards life. Pancreas is about how we perceive the world. And it's interesting. So people that have a very black and white, and I'm going to say almost bitter perspective, tend to be diabetics.
Yeah, because they're lacking the sweetness in life.
Exactly. They tend to have some diabetic issues. And so once you start healing that vibration out of that area, then you lose some of that negative vibration or negative mind frame through there. And when it goes back to delivery, if you look at childbirth at the end result of a beautiful gift, you remember, oh yeah, it hurt, it didn't feel like really wonderful, but the end result, because technically when it hurts, but you cannot feel that pain. You can't reproduce that pain in your vibration. You try really hard. I'm like,
and they've even tried, I don't know if you look up dads in labor.
Oh, those are funny.
Good kick, but they've tried to duplicate that pain with electronic devices or whatever to, have men experience it. And
crank up that tense unit and then put it right there on the testicles. Then they'll know what we're feeling.
There you go. There you go. And those are funny anyway.
Oh, they're hilarious. I love to see it when they've got like the big old belly thing going and everything. I don't know how y'all do this. We manage.
We manage. Somehow we get through it. So, yeah.
And you go, hey, it just happens that way.
Yeah. So, yep.
Well, I guess we're getting ready to wrap it up for a day, or the week, or the day, the week, the day.
The show.
The show.
We're
Yeah.
getting ready to wrap up this show.
For the day, or for the week, depending on how you look at it.
For the morning, I don't know.
But I had a good time yesterday. I did a couple of videos yesterday. Well, actually, I worked in the production room on a couple of videos on that, and I have a really cool little production assistant, and so I made her do all of the work. I sat there and just acted like the director, and I would say, kind of dictate to, this is what you put on here, this is what you put on there. I did let her choose the color schemes, and I'm like, purple? Okay, I'll let her do it. And then she signed it. And it says on the produced by Losi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Losi is one of our new production assistants.
That's cool.
Or production, she's not really an assistant. She did most of the work. I just sat there. So thank you for letting me sit there.
Well, maybe we'll get her trained to where we can just turn it all over to her and let her handle it.
I was sitting there thinking, are there any photography classes or video making classes on Udemy?
Yes, there are.
And we should have her take those classes.
There are.
And then she can be our production. And can you imagine when she's 18 years old? So what have you been doing? Been making videos for 7 years. And they're all looking like, what kind of videos? Hippie health.
Hippie health. It's just
hippie health readings, that kind of shit, And then they're like, wow. So I have a YouTube station. It used to be called Connected Minds, and nobody could ever find it. So I changed the name of it to Oklahoma Healing Connection. Sorry. Not very original.
She's been trying to get away from Oklahoma Healing Collection for as long as I've known her, and she can't seem to get rid of it.
All right, so I guess it's kind of like stuck, well, whatever. So sign up, go subscribe.
Go subscribe.
Because we will be having programs and shows that are not available on Facebook that will be only available to our subscribers.
Yep. So go
Readings,
subscribe on
crystal classes,
YouTube.
Those kind of things. So if you subscribe, you don't get access. So subscribe so you can get access.
Yep.
And we are working on building up the podcast station again.
How do they do that when they do this on YouTube? They're like, go down there.
Go down there.
And hit subscribe and ring the bell.
And don't forget the thumbs up. And leave me a comment.
There we go.
Ding, 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 ding. I hope y'all have a most magically wonderful, delicious day.
A delicious day.
Yes, I'm in the mood for some Lucky Charms.
Mmm.
Except for milk gives me a stomachache. Do you know how to make cashew milk? Oh, shit, that's not what it's called. Cheese. I learned how to make vegetarian cheese last night.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
You take a cup of cashews to 2 cups water, put it in your blender and blend it down to where it's a milk. Then you put it in a bowl with lemon juice, and then you put it in a pan and you heat it up, and you heat it. And you've got to make sure that you get the lemon juice all through there. And then it thickens up a little bit. It thickens up. And then you pour it through the cheesecloth and drain all of the fluid. Put a jar on top of it. And the next day it's some vegan cheese. So guess who's going to try some vegan cheese?
Interesting.
And y'all know I do not do vegan stuff. I don't.
I used to make our own mozzarella.
How do you... Oh. Don't I need curds and stuff like that?
No, it's super, super easy. It was basically just citric acid and whole milk. Super, super easy to make. I mean, as in,
I hope Clara's got a recipe for it.
This is bad because it almost sounds haughty on my part, but honestly, I wasn't being. We invited a family over for pizza because we like to make pizza. It's kind of one of the things we love. And at the time, I had 2 kitchens, and so I could make lots of pizza all at once. Well, this family was a larger family, and then we were a larger family, so there was like 20 of us in the house, and we were making pizza. And so I have pizza pans, guys. And then when I say I have pizza pans, I have pizza pans. So nobody in our house has to eat a pizza that they don't like. because
You have that many pizza pans.
I have baby pizza pans, I have big pizza pans, I have medium pizza pans. It's like personal sized pans. And so we're making pizzas and somebody's like, we need more cheese. Where's the cheese? And I'm like, we're out of cheese. Crap. I said, okay, no worries. I said, everybody just step back for a minute. I'll take care of the cheese issue. Just give me a minute. And they're like, what? What are you going to do? And we lived out in the country, so we were like 15 minutes from the nearest grocery store. So I wasn't going to run to the grocery store and get cheese, right? I pulled out a gallon of milk and I started mixing up, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, you said you needed more cheese. I'm making mozzarella cheese. And they're like, what? Like, you just make it. It's not that hard.
Okay.
You know,
so how do you make it?
So you heat the milk,
Uh-huh.
and you put citric acid in it, or lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
And you salt it or whatever, but then you just let it heat up, and it starts coagulating.
Mm-hmm.
And you cut it to make sure that the juice and stuff's all the way through. So you're cutting it as you're going. So it's not a stir. It's a
It's a cut.
slice,
Okay.
right? And then you drain off the liquid, and you've got mozzarella cheese.
Oh my
And
god!
it doesn't even have to age. I mean, like, you make it and strain it and eat it.
And I'm over here laughing, and I was like, so the cashew milk and this lemon juice, and I'm like, oh my god,
It's that easy.
it's that easy.
Yeah. And at the time, we were getting free fresh milk. A friend of ours they were milking a cow, and they weren't drinking all the milk, so they were just giving it to us.
Oh my god!
And
that
so I
would've
was
been
getting
my
like
best.
fresh milk. So I was making mozzarella cheese because that's a quick cheese. I'd make soft cheeses, like what they'd call a farm cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to play with cheddar cheese. So my husband and my sons made me a cheese press. We figured out how to build a cheese press, and they built me a cheese press.
Did you make cheddar cheese?
I never did. No. The cow quit.
Oh,
I quit getting all the milk, and I just never did.
dang it! So where can we get like fresh milk here in Oklahoma City area?
Down in Newcastle area, Newcastle Tuttle area, there is a dairy farm down there where you can pick up. You have to go down there and pick up the milk, and it's about $7 or $8 a gallon.
But think of the butter and everything you can make from that.
Oh yeah.
If they still have like all the heavy cream stuff up on the top. My favorite. So I like to make my own butter.
See, we would make butter too. We'd make butter. We'd make cheese. We'd make. I do like the spreadable cheese, the farm cheese or whatever. It was kind of like cottage cheese by the time it was done. It seems like I played with sour cream a little bit. I made yogurt.
See,
I love making yogurt.
I love your yogurt. In fact, I need to bring you back your yogurt jars so maybe we can get more yogurt.
We can do more yogurt. Yogurt's super, super easy to make, and you do not need anything special to make yogurt. Everybody thinks, oh, you have a yogurt maker. Nope.
Actually, I want to do the fermented garlic too. Coolest thing that happened, and then we got to sign off. I got a brand new stove yesterday. Brand new.
Ooh, that's cool.
Fancy grill.
Look, we got a new toy.
We got some new microphones, so we're going to try this microphone out, see how we like it on the podcast, and
See how
if
it
we
works.
like it, then we're going to buy more.
There we go. So we'll have several.
Yeah, which I'm totally down for.
Yeah. So
Um,
you want to learn how to ferment garlic? Let me know. We can put another class together for that. Actually, we can do yogurt and garlic in the same class because they're both so incredibly easy that we can start the yogurt process while we make the fermented garlic and then go back to the yogurt.
I love it.
So, let me know. Let's do it.
All right, so peace, love, and harmony. We hope to see you guys very soon here in the office.
Yes.
I have chakra balancing on sale for $45. You're saving $35, folks. Saving $35.
worth
Because
it.
I personally believe,
It's worth
especially
it.
this time of year, it's a good
It's worth
idea to get your chakras balanced.
True that.
See everybody later.
See ya.
Oh, where's this little finish?